Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quirk. We are no longer reporting from PNC Park. We are back home, thank God. And I'm here with my host, Ethan Pachersky, as established in prior podcasts. Ethan, what do you have anything to add for our loving fans before we dive into, today's topic?
No.
No. All right. Well, this has been the Baseball Podcast.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We're joined by a friend of the show, Orvin, and we're going to play some Elmer Dessens. Man, thank you for agreeing to come on. I really appreciate it. Why don't you pick the stipulation? Pick a time period you want to name players from.
Oh, man. I grew up watching baseball in the 2000s.
That works. So do we.
2000s, 2000s around there. So I guess we could do that.
All right. Who wants to lead off? I don't care. You want to lead off or you want to go last?
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me.
All right. Go ahead. Lead off.
I have a name, Sal Fasano.
Yeah,
Sal Fasano.
With this whole thing, with the
Louisville Bats hero, Sal Fasano.
Yeah. Sal Fasano's a good one, man. Philly's great, Sal Fasano.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go, Tom, or should I?
You go. I'm still thinking.
All right, I got an all-star for you. Ready? Kevin Correa.
Oh,
remember that guy?
That's good. But I think we can do better.
Do you remember him?
All right. I got a delay with this one. I don't know if this is the best one, but I'm going to have to throw this out there. Jason Jaramillo.
Philly's great. Do you remember him? He was the catcher on the Pirates.
Right. Yeah. I got one.
Okay.
Yeah, who you got?
I'm a big Yankees fan, and he only played like maybe a couple games for the Yankees. Shelly Duncan.
Oh, that's a good one.
Shelly Duncan. Shelly Duncan. He was this high prospect. Oh, he's supposed to be the next big thing, and we all know how that turned out.
Yeah.
And
it turned out he was not very good. You know what? That gave me my next one, but go in order because I thought of another guy who's like the same exact thing.
I was gonna say let's make it Yankee specific for a minute. I'm gonna go with you. Ready for this?
Oh,
Jonathan Albaladeo.
Oh my God, Amadeo. Wow, I remember him.
That's a good one. All right.
Who you got?
This isn't no, he was not a Yankee as far as I know. I think he was a Mariner. Or a Royal maybe, but this is another guy who was supposed to be like a bomber when he came up and was just a waste of time. Chris Shelton.
Oh my goodness, Chris Shelton.
Didn't he start off really hot one year with the Brewers?
Yeah, and then I think he just turned into a pumpkin,
Yeah, Chris Shelton's a good one.
I have another one. I think this was his name. He was traded in a bid for Soriano, I think, and A-Rod Joaquin Arias.
Yeah,
that's a good name.
Was it? Yeah, was it Joaquin Arias? Yeah.
I think he won a World Series with the Giants. God bless
he
him.
did.
Yeah, he did. I think he did.
Joaquin Arias
good.
is a good one. All right. You got me thinking about this with the Royals. Gil Mesh.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Who was after him in the rotation? He was equally random. His name was like Brian something. Brian Bannister.
Brian Bannister?
That's not my pick though. I have a different pick. The guy I wanted to throw out.
This has to be a Yankee. We both did Yankees.
Oh, it has to be a Yankee?
Yeah, do it.
Can I say the other one and have it just not count?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more time?
Oh my God, Eugenio Velez.
Okay, I got to think of a rando Yankee.
It's all right. We can come back to you.
Okay.
Random Yankee. It's not 2000s, but I remember this guy being a random Yankee. Shane Robinson. I hated that guy.
Ooh.
Yeah,
he was horrible in right field. Horrible in right field.
Australian Baseball League legend Shane Robinson. Ready? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and top your random Yankees. Dean Anna.
Dude, I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Dean Anna is?
Nope.
He was
No, I do not.
terrible. He was like a utility infielder guy. He was the worst. All right, go ahead.
God.
Okay, I feel like this guy was not a Yankee, so I don't know if this counts.
Go
But
ahead.
I have Jose Veras in my head right now.
Oh, he was a Yankee. Yeah, he was.
He was?
He was? There you go. There you go. I knew that was why I had him in
I'm
my
thinking
head.
of no, it might be Joe Veras. It might be Joe Veras. But no, I
Maybe.
think was he a pitcher?
Yeah, relief pitcher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was definitely a Yankee. Yeah, he was
Okay,
definitely
all
a
right.
Yankee. Yeah. Jose
All right.
Veras. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, what you guys want to do a couple more rounds? Are we doing the
I'm in,
Yankees, or are we off the Yankees thing now?
Go ahead. That doesn't
Here,
matter. Doesn't matter.
ready? Can I throw out an idea? So to make us think on our feet, whatever team or a player that Orvin names, we got to go with that team.
Oh, okay. All right.
What do you think?
Oh.
All right. All right. Let me think. All right. I have a name. Oh my God. All right. Keith Folk.
Keith Folk. Okay, so we're going with the Red Sox, huh?
Yeah, Red Sox legend.
Yeah, there we
All
go.
right. How about How about a little Mark Bellhorn?
Mark Bellhorn.
Okay, Mark Bellhorn.
All right. Listen, I think I got a good one for you guys. I'm going to go with Trot Nixon.
I believe he is a coach for the Czech Republic.
Is he?
He was in the last qualifiers. I think he is this year.
Wait, really? We're doing a little World Baseball Classic now?
Czech legend, Trot Nixon.
All right.
I got another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
He played for a couple of teams though. Jonathan Broxton.
Ooh. Okay,
Jonathan Broxton.
Now here's
the Dodgers. I think he played with the Dodgers. The Brewers.
I'm gonna go with the Dodger. Ready? I'm on that same team. Ronald Belisario.
No, I got a better one. I'm going with Blake DeWitt.
Blake DeWitt. Wait, was he the guy who hit it inside the Parker with like Prince Fielder like that at the same time, and they ran it? Didn't he run it like twice as fast as Prince Fielder?
Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
I remember that being a thing.
He was so bad. I remember the Dodgers were starting him at second base in the NLCS that year for some reason. And like that was such a good team, and then they'd Blake DeWitt at second base, like just some jag.
Blake DeWitt's a good name. All right, go ahead. You got another name? Anybody you want?
Just had his name. Oh, Ronnie Belliard. Ronnie.
Okay. Belliard. Which team are we going? Dodgers again? We're going Nationals.
Was he Nats? Was he with Cleveland or the Nats? The Nats. Let's go Nats. He
wasn't Indian, but we're talking Indian. Yeah. We're talking Cleveland. Nationals. I'm going with Jesus Flores.
Yeah.
Remember that he was supposed to be good for so long.
Okay, I'm gonna go with. Ready for this? This is Jesus Flores' backup. I'm going with Will Nieves.
Was he a 1L Will?
Yeah. Will, not Will.
Oh man!
All right.
Putting me on the spot.
This is good, dude. I'm feeling so challenged. I got to pick a different team each time.
Yeah, Orvin, you're good. Right? You're good. Right? I was a little worried because I don't know you that you're gonna come on and be like Alex Rodriguez. You know, dude, you're pulling out.
No.
Ronnie Belliard's a good one.
Yeah, I made sure I was prepared. So
okay,
yeah, I made sure.
I'm glad.
But, yeah. I think this guy's playing in the WBC. I think he is Bruce Chen with the Orioles. Let's go with the Orioles.
Showing up with his church shoes.
Bruce Chen's a good one, man.
Does that send us back to the Royals?
Was he with the Royals or the Orioles? He was with both, I think.
I think he pitched for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
I only remember as a Royal, though.
Did.
All right, Royals. Joey Gathright.
Oh.
You remember that guy?
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to come up with somebody who may be even more random. I'm going with Terrence Gore.
Terrence Gore just is.
Terrence Gore. Yeah. He's a pinch runner for every playoff team. That's what he is.
That's the only thing he's for.
That's the only thing he works for. Oh my God. Oh, I got a good one. Gary Matthews Jr.
Oh,
Gary Matthews Jr.
Amazing center field defensive. Yeah.
All right, so I think of Gary Matthews Jr. as like an angel. So how about Scott
Angels?
Spezio?
Oh, okay. We got to do the Angels. All right.
Well, you can pick a day. You can go with Rangers or Mets or something if you want.
No. I got to go for the Angels. I'm going with Darren Erstad.
First overall pick, Darren Erstad.
Yeah, known punter.
Pretty sure. Yeah. Wow, that's a good one.
All right, so quick check-in.
Yeah.
Who do we guys think is the front runner so far? I'm starting to get a little bit lost in the sauce.
I like Ronnie Belliard.
Ronnie Belliard's kind of an all-timer. I gotta be honest.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
All right, you guys want to do 2 more rounds?
I say we finish it off. Let's do 2 more. Let's make the last one managers.
Oh no!
You want to do managers?
My goodness.
Okay.
Oh man, I like that.
Here, I can kick it off with a man. Can I give you a manager?
Oh wait, isn't the last round managers?
Oh, you're right. I just said that. All right, yeah. One more players. Go ahead, Orvin.
All right. Let me think of John Axford.
Oh,
he's playing in the WBC.
John Axford.
He's playing in the WBC for Canada.
Yeah. Ancient John Axford.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, John Axford. So obviously we're going with a Brewer, right? How about Doug Davis? What's he doing for you?
Ooh, nice rando.
Yeah, the soul
nice
patch.
Rando. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I have 2. I think we already did one of them, so I'm going to go with Jason Kendall.
All right.
The other one I had in mind was Manny Parra.
Oh, Manny Parra.
Oh, you should use Manny Parra.
Well, I think we've already done that one. I think I used him already.
Oh, really?
As soon as I said Doug Davis, I thought of Kevin Mensch, and that would have been so much better.
Yeah. And a little Richie Sexton. All right, manager round.
All right, let's do a manager.
All right. I have random manager Ryan Sandberg. He was manager for like 2 seasons with the Cubs. Yeah, Ryan Sandberg,
Phillies legend,
coach.
Yeah,
coach of the legendarily bad mid-2010s Phillies.
I believe he rage quit on the team, didn't he? Ryan Sandberg. All right,
that sounds right.
How about Eric Wedge?
Oh man,
do you remember him? The Indians guy?
Yeah,
with the mustache. Of course.
I think he was the Sabathia teams, right? That was Eric Wedge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm gonna go with this guy. This guy ushered some truly horrific teams through their darkest days. I'm going with Manny Acta.
I knew you were gonna.
Oh my God, he was my next guess.
Was he? Oh.
He was my next guess. Wow.
Good. You want to do another manager round? We got time. You want to do another manager round?
All right, another manager round.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me one more manager, Orvin.
He's not really random, but Cito Gaston is another.
He's got a good random name. I'll give you that
Cito
much.
Gaston.
Yeah, I like his name. Cito Gaston. Yeah.
All right. How about Don Wakamatsu?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh man, that's right with the Mariners.
Yeah, the Mariners.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think this guy is involved in the World Baseball Classic somehow for the U.S. team. I'm going with Jerry Manuel.
I know. Was he the guy who said Johan Santana's gangster?
Yeah, Johan Santana threw a complete game shutout, and they were like, "Oh, what do you have to say about that?" And he went, "That's gangster."
Yeah. So Orvin, I don't know if I'm sure you're familiar with this phenomenon. I don't know who it is, but like I do this thing where in my head, Omar Infante and Martin Prado are just the exact same person because they were both like light hitting second baseman on the Braves. Yeah, there's a bunch of those. Like Angel Pagan and who's the other guy? Andres Torres and Angel Pagan are the same guy.
Yeah.
Jerry Manuel and Willie Randolph are that as managers. Like they're just the same person in my mind. Like I can't differentiate between the
season,
two.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can't differentiate the two in my head.
Well, you can separate them by using the knowledge that Willie Randolph never called anything that was done by Johan Santana gangsta. He never did
at least
that.
At least not on camera.
That's true. He never did it on the record. So.
Yeah, I don't know the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good, man. That was some good Elmer Dessens.
Yeah.
I was very pleased with that. Thank you, Orvin. That was a
All
lot
right.
of
So,
fun.
are we sticking with
no
Ronnie
problem.
Belliard for our player winner?
I think Ronnie Belliard's my choice. That was for the
Okay.
winner.
Thank you. Yeah.
Who's the manager winner? That's the real question.
I don't even remember who he said.
Eric Wedge is pretty
Eric Wedge. Yeah, Eric Wedge. It has to be Wedge.
I liked Manny Acta, but I'll take the win.
Eric Wedge has a funnier name. That's the thing.
That's true. That's true. Should we talk a little? Should we talk a little DR now? I'm told you're a big. I like how I said I'm told. Yeah. You told me. You told me you're a big DR fan. You want to just give me your initial thoughts on the team?
Yeah, the lineup is stacked.
True.
A little less today, though.
Yeah, right. News came out. Vladdy's probably not going to be playing anymore, so that's kind of disappointing. But and I don't know. It's actually a dilemma. I don't know who they're going to put at first. I can't think of a Dominican first baseman in the league right now.
Yeah, my guess was maybe Rafael Devers, since I think he's doing DH duty right now. But like, they are a little short on guys who are just first basemen.
Maybe they could play Gary Sanchez or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the first baseman I thought of was Luis Diaz with the Marlins. I think he's Dominican.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luis Diaz, but like he's not experienced. You know what I mean? He's not experienced like that. It might be too big of a stage, but
can they bring him in?
But yeah.
Well, yeah, they get to replace Vladdy if he's not going to play.
You can replace somebody else. So they don't really have a. It's kind of shocking. They have backup outfielders, backup third baseman, second. The only position they don't have a backup at, legit backup, is first base. So I can't.
So that is weird. So do you think they're gonna bring in a first baseman just that wasn't on the roster and then play that guy, or do you think they're just gonna bring in a player and make it work?
I would think they would bring in a first baseman. I think they're gonna bring in the first baseman from the Dominican Winter League. That's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna bring in a first baseman from the Dominican Winter League. Ronald Guzman could be another one. That's another guy.
Oh, Yankees great.
Yeah, Ronald. Yeah, exactly. Ronald.
If I'm the DR, and I don't know how the Red Sox would feel about this or him himself, but I would want to just shift Devers over, play Machado at third, and then what I mean. You can bring in somebody and put him on the bench. But I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know what they're gonna do. Nelson Cruz is the manager, or the GM, so I have no idea what they're gonna do. But I think my personal opinion, I wouldn't do this, but they're probably gonna bring in somebody from the Dominican Winter League.
You think that's just faster? They're not gonna have to ask any clubs or anything if they go.
That too. But I mean, I wouldn't see why the Marlins would say no to Luis Diaz. He's right there. They're going to be in Miami.
Right.
He's already, getting in stride. So I don't know what they're going to do, though. No idea.
Yeah, I'm going through to see if any of these guys played like first base as like a backup position, and it doesn't even look like they got that. I mean, they got a lot of third basemen, shortstops, outfielders, second baseman, and then nobody. And the funny thing is, like, if this was last year, it would be a different story. Pujols, or a couple years ago, Big Papi, all those guys. But
how cool would it be? How cool would it be if Pujols was like, you know what, let's do it?
Yeah, one more.
I mean, Cabrera's doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Cabrera's doing it.
That's true.
That's true.
So I mean, that could be another option. Pujols could do it. I didn't even know Cabrera was playing spring training today. I didn't even know that was allowed. I think
he's got one more year on his contract. Yeah, I think he'll be in MLB this year.
Is he not? Did he not retire?
No, I think he's got one more year. But yeah, I think he's going to ride out.
I think he's like running out the clock.
Yeah. Oh, that's what he's doing. For some reason, I thought he retired last year, at the end of last year. But
I mean, he probably should have.
But
that would have made a lot of sense.
Then again, when you got $24 million on the table, you're not going to retire.
Yeah, right. Maybe it's just Pujols in my head, but I mean, in all honesty, Pujols can be an option, but I mean, it could be a long shot as well. I don't know what they're gonna do. To be honest, I can't.
I like Lewin Diaz. That's not a guy I would have thought of, but I if that's your best option, I'd take him over Ronald Guzman. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's I can't think of anybody.
They're gonna be loaded no matter what they do at first base.
No, regardless. Yeah.
I mean, I don't in my mind, this doesn't change where they're at in their pool. I still think they go 4-0 and they take the first spot. But do you think this changes how they match up against, how well they fare against the U.S. or Japan, that kind of thing?
In all honesty, I think their most important game is going to be the first game against Venezuela. I think Venezuela is going to be they're going to be a really good team, a tough team to deal with. Only because I was looking at the schedule, and I think their first game is against Venezuela. Then it's Nicaragua or Israel, somebody like that, and then I think they finish with Puerto Rico. So that game is going to be very important. I mean, you would guess they would beat Israel or Nicaragua. So that game's going to be very, very important. But you need every firepower or every person you can get against USA and Japan. I mean, those teams are stacked as well. So, So, I mean, losing Vladdy, you're losing the MVP candidate. So,
brutal.
It's what I mean?
Brutal.
Yeah, it's a loss either way. But if there's any team that can do it with the lineup DR has, it's DR or USA. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like
I can.
DR's pitching is really, really strong, too. So I think even if their lineup wasn't as good as it is, they're still going to be a favorite in the tournament just because they have such a deep pitching staff. And, it's loaded with elite guys, too. Like, the only starter they're going to throw out there who is kind of iffy is Johnny Cueto. But, I mean...
Johnny Cueto was good last year. He was good last year.
Yeah, he was decent last year. That's the thing too. He was decent last year.
Yeah. I don't know that much about Roansy Contreras, but he looks like he's good from his numbers.
Yeah, he's a big time prospect.
Former Yankee. Former Yankee.
He looks like he's
for Ty Young, I believe. So
yeah, he looks solid. So I'm sure the Pirates are going to be trading him very shortly.
I think the DR.
That's what the Pirates do.
I think the DR, their bullpen's like a little thinner, I think, than the U.S. because the U.S. worst reliever is like Jason Adam, who was really good last year. The DR does have like Ronel Blanco, like that's not, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you have to get through like Yoel Payamps, not doing it. But they also have like Gregory Soto, Luis Garcia, Carlos Estevez, Camilo Doval, like. They have so many good relievers before you get to like the 2 or 3 bad ones. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. But yeah, I mean, I like DR. What are your predictions overall? How far do they go in the tournament?
Well, I'm actually going. I'm actually going to the Baseball Classic. So yeah. This was a dream of mine, pretty much. I said next World Baseball Classic. I'm Dominican. I don't know if you guys know this, but yeah. So I wanted. There was no way I was gonna miss that. So I said, next time I'm gonna go. I hope they make it past pool play. To be honest, I mean we've been upset before. Netherlands upset us 2013, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah. 2009. We lost to. Whatever, but we got upset. So hopefully we make it out of pool play. Nothing's guaranteed. But yeah, as long as they make the quarterfinals, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough pool. So, I mean, they're more than up to the challenge. Venezuela's a good team, like you said, and Puerto Rico did not bring the squad that they could have brought. Like they were a lot better in 2017, but they're still solid. And then even Israel is like they're not in that category, but they're still a good team. Like they're not.
You don't want to sleep on it,
you know.
Yeah.
So who's your MVP? As a hitter, and who's your Cy Young? Do you think for Dominican Republic?
I think Soto would be the MVP.
Good pick. I like it.
Hitting wise, Soto, even though he had a down year by his standards, but and I mean. Sandy just won Cy Young. So, I mean, I don't know. What else can I say? I mean, Sandy just won Cy Young. So, but that's too too much of an obvious pick, I guess. But
right.
You can
Dude,
go.
I mean,
You can go with obvious.
I mean,
gonna go with
if you pick anybody other than Otani for the Japanese team, I mean, yeah, it's obvious.
Exactly. Right.
That team in all likelihood. So it's not.
right.
Yeah.
Sometimes the obvious pick is just the right pick.
Yeah,
Right.
I think in pool play you're going to have to lean on your bullpen a little harder. You're going to have to like empty the tank to win every game, except for Nicaragua. I think Camilo Doval is going to be their guy.
Really?
I think he's going to be. I think he's going to lock down all their games.
And who's your hitter MVP?
Pick.
Who are you going with?
Man, I mean it's hard to go against Soto, right? Now that Vlad's off the team, I mean you got I don't see anybody except Soto on that level.
Okay, so
what do you think?
I'm probably going to say Soto for MVP also, and my pick for Cy Young is going to be Christian Javier.
Yeah, he was amazing in the World Series.
Christian Javier is dirty, dude. Like, yeah, Sandy's the best pitcher in the league, but Christian Javier is really dirty, and he can be just as good as Sandy Alcantara on any given day. So I'm looking to him to tear some fools up.
I think it's going to be interesting how managers use their pitchers. I think starting pitchers have a 60 pitch limit.
Yeah, and pool
I think it's 65 in the first round, and then it goes to 80, and then 95.
So I think some of the managers might do an opener, and then I'd like to kind of loophole within the pitch limit. So maybe they use an opener, for 2 or 3 innings, and then go to their starter. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm interested to see how the managers utilize their rotation.
If the Dominican Republic goes to the finals, I'm expecting to see that they just kind of baton pass Alcantara off to Christian Javier, and then they close it out if they have to.
Yeah.
But like in that situation, like I would be afraid no matter which lineup I'm putting out there.
Oh, they're a terrifying team to face. Yeah, they're terrifying. I mean, I think they're loaded. I think they're going to go. I think they're going to lose to the U.S., but I would not be shocked at all if they went to the finals. Yeah, they're a scary team. Orvin, we're almost out of time. Do you want to tell people how to reach you? What's the best way to follow you and everything?
Yeah. Well, my Instagram is at Oheavy, OHEAVY, and then my Twitter is @OHeavy, DOUBLEOOHEAVY. It's the best way to contact me. I appreciate you guys for having me on. Of course, fun time.
Yeah, this was a blast, man. Let's do this again. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for.
We got to bring you on for Melvin Mora. That's our other.
Hey, man. Oh man. Oh really?
Yeah.
Whenever you guys need me back on for anything, I'll more than gladly come back on.
Let's do it, man. Yeah, we have a game called Melvin Mora where we'll pull up a roster. We'll say like the 2011 Royals, and then you just got to try and name every player you can. And it's brutal, man, with some teams. Melvin Moore sounds like a good time. Yeah, we'll do games again soon, man. This was a lot of fun. Thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate you guys having me.
Cool, man. Take it easy. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks, dude.
All right, guys. So listen, we do have something we want to talk about, all right? This is what many call an important topic, okay? This is Pool D. We're going to be talking about Pool D today, guys. And Pool D is a little bit of an interesting one. It's one of the deeper pools. So why don't we get to it?
I think it's the deepest pool.
Yeah, this is not the kiddie pool, okay?
Pool A.
Yeah, that's the kiddie pool for sure. Okay, so Ethan, you wanted to jump right in with your favorite team in this pool. Not necessarily your favorite to win this pool, but your favorite team to talk about in this pool.
Unfortunately. My favorite team to talk about, the team I root for, even ahead of the United States, Tom.
Which is, frankly, you know what I say to that? Where is it?
I despise him.
I thought you were going to go with how much more betrayal can I take?
How much more betrayal can I take?
There we go.
How much more betrayal can I take?
There you go. Both of them apply. Yeah. What does not apply, on the other hand, is this.
I was trying to help you out. Get you.
That doesn't apply either.
I am not trying to help anybody out. As a proud one-quarter Jewish American.
Hey, me too. But listen, I'm more interested in my 3/4, all right?
You're 3/4 non-Jewish. I fell in love with Team Israel in 2017 during the WBC, as I think a lot of people did, Jewish and non-Jewish, Jewish and
Right.
Gentile, and
Oh.
and
what is it?
Goyim.
Yenta and
I found out recently that
Yenta.
Yinta is just someone who loves to talk, like
a
gossiper. I thought it was too, but
wait, it wouldn't be a Yenta and a Shiksa?
Yeah, Shiksa is like I believe a woman
that's a
Jews love.
woman.
That's a non-Jew. Like, so Elaine in Seinfeld had Shiksa appeal. I think. I don't know, dude.
I think that might be your Seinfeld-based definition.
Yeah, I might be wrong. I'm
looking this up.
I want to make this clear for everyone listening. We are not practicing Jews. Like, I have been in a synagogue once in my life, and it was for someone's bar mitzvah.
Shiksa, a Gentile girl or woman. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now let's look up Yenta. I think it just means woman.
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
anyways,
we're off the rails here.
That's your lesson in Jewish culture for today. Let's get to Jewish culture as it relates to the World Baseball Classic in 2023.
Let's talk about some mensches, Tom.
Oh,
I love Team Israel. I fell in love with them in 2017.
Again.
I think
How much more betrayal can I take?
Continue.
I think the whole baseball world fell in love with them in 2017, and I think they're in for a similar ride. And I'll tell you why. Because in 2017 they came in with zero expectations. I think they were 41st ranked in the world. They had zero active major leaguers on their roster. They didn't really have any recognizable names other than like Jason Marquis and Ike Davis, who were beyond their prime.
Yeah, they were done.
And they went in as sort of as, you know, we're just happy to be here, that kind of team. And then they went on a run. And I don't need to give the whole story. Everybody knows about this. But here's my point. I think the Team Israel was set up to kind of lose some of that luster in a way of now people, you know, expected it. They knew what was coming. And I think that, you know, they had a lot of success in between. So they qualified for the Olympics. They didn't do that well in the Olympics, but still qualifying, only 6 teams in the world did. That's a huge accomplishment. And they started to get some bigger names. Danny Valencia joined the team, became an Israeli citizen. Ian Kinsler's now the manager. Ian Kinsler played for them in the Olympics. And I think they became not a powerhouse by any means, but I think they became a known quantity in the baseball world. And so it sort of set them up to be not as much of a Cinderella run. But I think the difference is, we were talking about Pool D, the pool of death. I think they're still in that Cinderella category because, you know, they're up against some really good competition. I think Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Venezuela are all still better than them. And Nicaragua is not really a pushover, even though I think they're the worst team in the pool.
I think Israel is better than Nicaragua, but it's not like crazy.
I don't think it's like a bananas difference. But I don't think Israel's going to make it out of pool play, and I'm sad to say that. But they are set up in much the same position that if they do rack up some wins, it's the same kind of remarkable story where you went, nobody could have expected it, you know, whatever.
Right. That's exactly what we said, actually, in that tone of voice also.
Yeah, exactly. And Team Israel also has suffered some absolutely devastating losses, right? So we talked about, obviously, the U.S. losing a lot of pitchers. We talked about Italy losing Brandon Nimmo. But Team Israel, I said this on a previous podcast, had I don't want to say losses. I mean, Harrison Bader was a loss. He committed to play and then he decommitted. But Team Israel theoretically could have had Paul Goldschmidt, Max Fried, Alex Bregman, Mike Moustakas, Adam Ottavino, right? All these guys. And they decided for one reason or another not to play.
Right.
And so I think Team Israel is set up.
Ottavino's playing for the U.S., right?
Yeah. Ottavino is playing for the U.S.
Yeah, because he wants to actually win.
Right. Dylan Cease, another guy. And so they're set up in such a position. And again, I don't think this is going to happen. But if they have success, it's going to be another remarkable, look at what they overcame. And so that's kind of why I love Team Israel. And also, you know, the Jewish part. But aside from that, should we jump into the roster, or did you have any setup?
No, I think you covered all that.
All right.
If we go into their roster, if we want to start with the pitching, the main name here is Dean Kramer. He's their best pitcher.
Yeah, had somewhat of a breakout for the Orioles last year. He was good.
Yeah, he's going to be part of the incredibly bright future for the Braves, for the Orioles.
The Orioles.
Yeah, for the Orioles. You know, not the Braves, many call them.
Right.
He's their ace. pretty clearly, and he's the guy they're going to look to when they need to win big games. So if they do go on a run, Dean Kramer is the guy you're going to be looking to, as often as possible.
Absolutely. And their best relief pitcher is going to be Tricky Dick Blyer, who has been around for a long time with the Red Sox now. Good reliever, not absolutely shut down, but he's a good reliever. Other than that, they have a lot of kind of cup of coffee guys in the majors. Jake Fishman debuted last year. Bubby Rossman. There's a lot of guys like that on here. Robert Stock has been pitching in KBO. Zach Weiss was on the Angels last year. One other name, not a practicing Jew, but I guess he has heritage. Adam Kolarek has been in the big leagues for a couple of years. That's something. Rob Kaminsky pitched in the big leagues in 2020. And they've got a couple of prospects like Brandon Gold. Josh Wolf was part of the Francisco Lindor deals. They've got a couple of young guys, stuff like that.
Right.
But it's a lot
upside on this team.
Yeah, there's upside. There's not a lot of it, but stranger things happen. One name that I want to bring attention to is a guy named Jake Kalish, and he's 31. He'll turn 32 this year. He's a career minor leaguer. Never been in the big leagues.
To be clear, he is also bad.
He's been in the AAA for a long time. I think he's pitched okay in AAA. I don't think he's like a complete scrub, but he's if he ever makes the major leagues, it'll be a cup of coffee at some point, and I don't think that'll probably happen. But here's why I love Jake Kalish. One of my best friends' name is Jake Scalish, so I think that's cool.
Right.
And
Shout out Jake Scalish.
Shout out Jake Scalish, who's not a baseball fan. I love Jake Kalish because probably 50 pounds ago, I was told that I look like him, and I'm going to take that and run with it.
And more hair ago.
I had longer hair at the time.
Yeah.
So I love Jake Kalish. I saw him on Team Israel last time, and I thought he was fun. So he's my favorite player in all of baseball. So there you go.
Right.
The hitting side, I think, is a little better. The hitting side's a little better.
This is their strength for sure.
They have some productive major leaguers. Danny Valencia, like I said, has been out of the bigs for a little while, but he raked in the Olympic qualifiers, and he did well in the Olympics. I think he's going to do well for them. Jock Peterson is an all-star. He was terrific last year for the Giants. He's a very good player. Alex Dickerson, go ahead.
Jock Peterson is going to be the guy who, if this team's going anywhere, it's going to be largely, I suspect, because Jock Peterson starts to go off a little bit.
Agreed. Yeah, I think he is the type of bat that in a tournament like this, he could single-handedly win you a few games. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if you know what I mean, if Jock Peterson drives in 3 or 4 runs in a game, you can win that game, against anybody. So that's the hope there. Alex Dickerson has had trouble staying healthy, but he's been good on the when he's been on the field. I think he has like a 111 OPS plus for his career. He's good. He qualified by way of a Jewish wife, by the way. He's not Jewish himself.
Right.
Other than that, Ty Kelly had a couple, a handful of games in the majors. Zach Geloff, or maybe Geloff, I'm not sure, is the A's 3rd ranked prospect, I think. So he's supposed to be pretty good.
I want to point out about Zach Geloff. I pulled up his page because I wanted to see how good he was, because I was aware that he was highly rated. I wanted to see if he was delivering, which he is. He looks like he's really good. 2 things. One, he was born in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. All right, local kid. And also, at the bottom of his page, they have some highlights. And one of them says, Zach Geloff slams go-ahead single.
Yeah, but he slammed it.
Yeah, he destroyed it. That. I'm imagining, like when I used to play MLB 09, the show, the rosters for that game were finalized before Adam Dunn signed with the Nationals, so he was always a free agent, and I would always sign him every single time I did a season. And he was the absolute champion of you rope a line drive off the wall down the line, and you don't even have a shot at a double.
Yeah, you hit it so hard that it's just a really long single.
Even if you don't hit it that hard, because he had 11 speed. So I'm imagining that.
That's Zach Geloff.
Zach Geloff just smashes a ball off the wall, and he's not going to second. But he's a shortstop, so I imagine he's not a slug. However, I had to point that out because I really like Zach Geloff slams go-ahead single.
I like that one, man.
Yeah.
Along the lines of Zach Geloff, Matt Mervis burst onto the prospect scene last year. He went bananas with his power numbers. He's a first baseman in the Cubs system. If he doesn't break camp with the team, he will most assuredly, except for injury, make his major league debut this year. And like, who's standing in his way? Non-roster invitee Eric Hosmer. Like, he'll be fine.
Eric Hosmer, who, you know, is famous for winning Gold Gloves in spite of being one of the worst first basemen in the league defensively.
Right. So Matt Mervis will start for first base and hopefully rake for them. And the two other names to know are they have two catchers. I'm sure one of them will DH. Ryan Lavarnway, who's been on Team Israel for a long time, journeyman catcher. I think he played parts of like 10 big league seasons.
I think Lavarnway's strength was always his bat.
Yeah, so he's a typical quad A guy.
Yeah, against like Nicaragua, even Puerto Rico, if they have to dip deep into their bullpen, like you could see Lavarnway have some success.
Oh, you absolutely can. He was the Pool A MVP in 2017. I think it was Pool A, but whatever pool they were playing in, he was the MVP.
The pool that Israel was in.
Yeah. And I'm assuming their starting catcher will be Garrett Stubbs, who was terrific last year for the Phillies in like 40-something games. Obviously, you don't see a lot of playing time as JT Realmuto's backup, but he made a count. OPS over 800. He can run. He played a little bit of outfield, too. Garrett Stubbs is really good. So, you know, they've got some hitters. They've got some, you know, guys who are sort of big league depth pitchers, which isn't amazing. But again, in the World Baseball Classic, you know, you kind of just have to string things together. So I think Israel's way out of this pool, if it's going to happen, they're going to need everybody to hit, and they're going to need Kramer to pitch, and then they're just going to have to figure something out. I would assume Josh Wolf will probably start a game or two. So if you could do that and just cobble together a bullpen outing, they're going to need to beat Nicaragua, obviously.
They have no choice but to beat Nicaragua.
Yeah, I think of the big three teams in that pool, Puerto Rico's the most beatable. But even if you win that, if you drop games to Venezuela and to the DR, that you don't get in really. But you know, I mean, you got to beat Puerto Rico and you got to beat Nicaragua, and then hope that you can shock the world and beat one of the other two. It could happen. I'd give it like, I don't know, 5-10% chance, but it could happen. It could happen.
There is. I don't think there's a world where this team upsets DR unless DR just does not show up to play.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think the same thing for Venezuela, but Venezuela is a little bit more attainable just because Venezuela has a regular, really good roster as opposed to the Dominican Republic that has an all-time great roster.
Right.
So, I mean, this team does have some strong players on it, for sure. What I think is going to, you know, ultimately bring them down is they really only have one starter who I think you can kind of count on. I suspect that the guys to watch for the most, you know, to get the most excitement out of this team, the guys to watch are going to be Zach Geloff and Matt Mervis.
They're the future of Jewish baseball.
Yeah, it's fun to watch prospects in the World Baseball Classic because, as we've said numerous times, you get to see these guys often before they're really, you know, before they're in the majors and before sometimes even, you know, they are going to be getting the call that year. So that it's sort of a sneak peek, if you will.
Yeah, speaking of sneak peeks, there's one more interesting storyline that I forgot to tell. There's a kid named Jacob Steinmetz. He's 19 years old. I think he's a pretty decent prospect. I don't know too much about him as a player, but he is looking to become the first Orthodox Jew in the major leagues.
Really? Okay.
That's something to watch. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
A little bit of a cultural moment.
Yeah. So Team Israel, I think they have a ton of human interest stories. I'm obviously pulling for them. They're my favorite team, and they have my favorite player, Jake Kalish. Any given day, man. If you run Dean Kramer out there against Venezuela and he twirls a gem and you get a Jock Peterson homer, then who knows? But I don't realistically see it happening. But I would love to be wrong. You got any more thoughts on Team Israel, or should we move on?
I do just want to point out this team does have there's two coach names that I want to talk about. One of my favorite players of all time, one of my favorite batting stances of all time, Kevin Youkilis.
Yes.
Former U.S. player in the World Baseball Classic on that inexplicably weird 2009 roster that was kind of not that good.
Right.
And then I assume this is a relative of Jock, but their first base coach's name is Tiger Peterson.
Tiger with a Y.
Yeah. Listen, they do not want you to go thinking that he's an actual tiger.
No, come on, don't be silly.
And they also don't want you to be confusing him with the musician Tyga.
Yeah.
So,
you're right.
So Tiger Peterson. So, all right. So that's Team Israel. You know, that's one of probably the deepest dive you're going to get on Team Israel. Frankly, I don't think they're getting a whole lot of attention from most other angles. Let's talk about Venezuela.
Let's talk about Venezuela.
Venezuela is my dark horse pick for this tournament. I really like their roster. I think their starting pitching could be a little bit better, but I do like at least their top two. In fact, I'm going to go with their top three because Luzardo is a little bit better than I remembered him. I thought he had turned into a suspect, and that I don't think that was permanent. He's pretty good. So this team can send out for their top three starting pitching. They got Pablo Lopez, Ranger Suarez, and Jesus Luzardo.
They've also got Eduardo Rodriguez and Jose Quijada. They're not really pushovers.
And they got Martin Perez, who is not very good, but he's a major league starter.
He was an all-star last year.
Was he?
Martin Perez was shockingly good last year. Also, wait, correct me if I'm wrong. If their rotation is Pablo Lopez, but that's three left-handers. That's weird.
Yeah, they are going to have some really good starting pitching. I think that their bullpen is a little bit less impressive.
Well,
but correct me if I'm wrong. Luis Garcia is really good.
Yes. Alvarado is excellent.
Ulysse Chassin, I think, is a little washed up, but he's, he has been a major league quality pitcher. He's probably going to go out of the bullpen, I would assume. Jose Alvarado, Phillies legend, Jose Alvarado. Jose Alvarado struggled really badly out of the gate last year. And then in the middle of the season, he just developed like the best left-handed slider in baseball. And he throws.
I think it's a cutter.
Is it a cutter? I thought it was a slider.
I think either way, cutter or sinker.
He throws triple digits, or very close to it. He was an elite reliever for the second half of last season, and he has been really good for most of his career. He strikes out a lot of batters, and ultimately he's a great relief pitcher. They are going to be handing the ball to him a lot, I assume. Is there anybody else in this bullpen that we should talk about?
I think Jose Ruiz is maybe a little interesting, but the rest of them are sort of major league depth guys. Silvino Bracho, Ulysse Chassin, like you said, Edwin Escobar. I mean, this is another one where, like, it's the World Baseball Classic. Silvino Bracho is going to be fine. But against the U.S. and the DR, that's not quite up to snuff. But they do have enough starters that they can use a starter or two in relief.
Right. And I think especially if they get out of pool play, which I fully expect them to, they have good enough pitchers that they can throw. I mean, they can throw Pablo Lopez and Jesus Luzardo against the Dominican Republic, and you still have three other starters to pick from in the finals if you want to play it like that. I mean, you can also save Pablo Lopez if you want. I don't know what their strategy would be, but being deep in starting pitching, once you get out of pool play, I think is really, really strong. If you're a team that is not a lock to get out of pool play, you need to have more than just strong starters. But I don't see Venezuela not advancing. They're better than all the other teams except for DR in this pool. And I think by kind of a lot. If we go to their position players, they have three major league catchers, one of whom is Salvador Perez, who's one of the best hitting catchers in the league. He had a little bit of a down year last year, not like terribly, but he's still got good power. He's not your guy for walks. Never has been.
No.
Then his backups are Robinson Chirinos, who's kind of a career journeyman.
Over the hill, yeah.
And then Omar Narvaez, who I believe is also over the hill a little bit.
Omar Narvaez is decent. I think the Mets just gave him a 2-year deal. But I mean, yeah, it's Sal
fine,
Perez. You don't need to worry about your backups. Yeah. It's Sal Perez. Their infield.
Their infield, on the other hand, is very good. This is a great infield. Going down in alphabetical order, they have Jose Altuve, amazing, probably future Hall of Famer at this point. I don't know how much really needs to be said about him other than that he's short. Luis Arias,
batting champion.
Yeah, batting champion, was just traded for Pablo Lopez. Luis Arias will probably be at first base, I would assume. And I think he's only a first baseman. And he's not your typical first baseman. As we said, he's a batting title winner. He does not hit for a whole lot of power. You have Eduardo Escobar next. Eduardo Escobar.
Solid utility guy.
Yeah, utility guy. I believe he's mostly a third baseman. But this team has a better third baseman who is coming. But Eduardo Escobar, good player. You have Andres Jimenez. That's how you say it, right?
I think it's Jimenez.
Jimenez, rock solid second baseman, very good.
Yeah, really broke out last year.
Yeah, second baseman for the Guardians, Andres Jimenez. After that, you have Hernan Perez, who I think is a little bit of a nobody.
He's the replacement for Miguel Rojas.
Yeah, Miguel Rojas just took over the starting shortstop job for the Dodgers and pulled out of the World Baseball Classic, and also ordered some fresh bats from Victus Sports, which were prepared by your boy. So, just saying. After that, you have Luis Rengifo. Luis is good. He was surprisingly good for the Angels last year. Also not your guy if you want walks, but has good power.
Yeah,
I believe he's going to play shortstop. Is that right?
I feel like they might play Gleyber Torres at second and Jimenez at short, but I don't know. I was hoping Rengifo. I was hoping Rengifo was going to suit up for Colombia because they need him a lot more than Venezuela.
Well, he wants to win.
Yeah.
Next, you have Eugenio Suarez. Eugenio Suarez is a bomber, a great power bat. His average has been a little bit depressed over the past couple of years, but he is a really good hitter. He hit 49 home runs in 2019. I don't think he's never had a season where he didn't hit for power. This guy rocks. And then you have Gleyber Torres, who, as Ethan mentioned, is probably going to suit up at second base. Gleyber Torres, another good power bat. And, yeah, I mean, this infield is shaping up to be one of the better ones in the whole tournament, frankly.
The outfield is no problem either. These are all good hitters.
So you have Ronald Acuna Jr., who is, when he's healthy and playing to his full potential, like a top 5 player in the whole league. Even when hurt and having kind of a down year, he was still very good last year.
Right.
This guy rules. He's only 25. He's the future of the Braves. Also, I swing his bat. Just saying. Exact same model.
That's how you know he's good.
Not to brag or anything.
When he's got your seal of approval.
Exactly. Then you have David Peralta, who is another one of those guys who has had a little bit of a down year the past couple of years, but had proved himself to be a very good hitter. From like 2017 to like 2019, he was one of the better hitters in the NL.
Yeah, he's a little long in the tooth now, but he's a professional hitter, as Chris Wheeler
long in the tooth.
You like long in the tooth?
I don't, but you know what I have to say to that.
How much more betrayal can I take?
And then I go like this.
Oh!
And then lastly in their outfield, you have Anthony Santander. Anthony Santander, who is going to be part of this future Marlins team. He's going to be an elder statesman for this team, even though he's 28. Not that old.
He's an Oriole. He's not a Marlin. He's an Oriole.
Why did I say the Marlins? The Orioles.
Why don't you take it easy, pal?
Yeah, hold on. Let me
Take it easy.
Right to myself. I don't even know why I said Marlins. It's not like I was like, you're thinking one thing and then you read a word and you say the word without thinking it.
You mean like, for instance, if I said Anthony Santander, known Oriole, and went Marlins?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah. That's not even what happened, because what I'm looking at doesn't say Marlins anywhere. So I don't know why I said Marlins, but he's going to be part of the future of the Orioles, the team that he does play for.
He's good.
In spite of being 28, he's going to be the elder statesman for that team. That team is going to be really young and really good. And within probably this year or the next, they're going to be one of the best young teams we've seen in a really long time. He hits for power. He had 33 homers last year, 89 RBIs. And this Venezuelan team is not going to lack for hitting in any way.
How about their DH? Did you notice their DH?
Their DH is lock Hall of Famer, but old guy now, Miguel Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera, one of the greatest hitters of all time. Unfortunately, he's getting a little old now. He is 39, and I believe he is going to be 40 in next month. So he is not the guy that he was, but still,
right.
He's still a professional hitter. He's got it in him.
Yeah,
so
and he's just a fun story.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, they put one of their backups at DH if something happens, and Cabrera is just not getting it done. But Cabrera is the Venezuela's legend, so I don't think you're going to see him not play. Overall, outside of maybe the back end of their bullpen, if they have to dip into it, this team is kind of top to bottom fantastic.
Yeah, this is a top tier team. I think they're top 5 for sure. I think they're just outside of the USDR Japan range, but I think they're number 4.
They're number 4.
Of Puerto Rico. I have them ahead of Korea. They're an excellent team.
They're
the kind of team. I think it's close enough. I can see them beating any of the top 3 teams. I don't think it will happen, but I would not be completely shocked if it did.
They're not outmatched against any of the top 3 teams. They're better than Mexico, and Mexico is probably the next best team in this tournament. They're better than Mexico by a pretty solid amount. Arias is better than any of their pitchers, but Pablo Lopez can't go toe-to-toe with Arias. So they're going to be fine. This is a dark horse team to win the whole tournament.
Yeah, this team.
In any other year, this would be a top 3 team. It's just the U.S., the Dominican Republic, and Japan, as we talk about a lot, totally brought it this year.
Right.
But this team rules. So I actually have this team as a good shot to upset and advance to the finals, which I would love to see. So
yeah, it would be really fun. Really fun.
Venezuela, it's tough to call this team an underdog, but they are going to be a little bit of an underdog story against those big 3. So they're going to be fun to watch. I don't want them to beat the United States, but other than that, I like this team a lot.
Why don't we move on to the third, top dog team in this pool, Puerto Rico, a team that I think overall is a little bit of a bummer just because of the guys they don't have. But instead of focusing on that, Carlos Correa and all of that, who does Puerto Rico have, Tom?
Well, so if we start with their pitching, the big standout here is Jose Barrios. They get some other names here. Marcus Stroman has defected from the United States to Puerto Rico.
2017 WBC MVP Marcus Stroman.
Yes, who defeated the Puerto Ricans, if I remember right.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. Outside of that, they have some other major league names. I'm not sure how many of these guys are real standouts. They got Hector Santiago, who we'll talk about long in the tooth, looking a little long in the tooth. Was kind of a journeyman. I don't know if he's slated to start or not.
I'm not sure. Maybe Derek Rodriguez would start. I don't think they have a ton of Oh, well, I know they said this Dominic Hamill guy will start. I'm not sure who that is. He's obviously a prospect of some sort. Jose De Leon is sort of a failed starting pitching prospect. Maybe that could happen. I think their bullpen is a strength, though. Alex Claudio has been a good loogie for a long time, and there's no 3-batter minimum in the World Baseball Classic, so that helps.
Okay. Alexis Diaz was really good last year.
Yeah, Edwin Diaz is the best closer in baseball. Alexis Diaz was very good. Jose Espada means Joseph Sword, so I enjoy that.
All right, good name.
Jorge Lopez was an all-star last year. He broke out. Emilio Pagan has sort of been a journeyman reliever guy, but he's had some good years. Giovanni Moran, I think, is a pretty interesting lefty on the Twins. Phillies legend Yaxel Rios.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Underwood Jr. is another journeyman. So they've got a lot of depth, you know. I don't know if anybody blows you away except for the Diaz brothers, but
right.
They've got a lot of
I mean, and on the rotation, Jose Barrios is a really good starting pitcher. He had a down year last year, but you know, he's rock solid. He's probably their best hope in this tournament.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Their catchering's not bad. Martin Maldonado.
Their catchering.
Did I say their catchering?
Yes.
Their catching isn't bad. Martin Maldonado just got a ring with the Astros. He's a defense first guy. He doesn't hit, but you know that's okay.
Speaking
Vasquez,
of catchers who just got a ring with the Astros,
right? Christian Vasquez was his catching mate. He's more of a hitter, less of a defender. And MJ Melendez is one of the top catching prospects in baseball. So between that group, they should get good production out of the catcher spot. They have another Edwin Diaz on the infield. I don't know who that is, but that's kind of fun.
Let's pull him up. Let's see how he looks.
Yeah, that's true. And they've got.
He's not that good. He's a career minor leaguer, and his career average in the minors is .215. So this guy is he's you know what he is? He's a guy.
Yeah, he'll be on the bench. They have far and away the best player on the team is Francisco Lindor, one of the best players in the whole tournament.
Exactly.
That's a lock. I would assume Kike Hernandez will probably be playing second base. Maybe Javi Baez would be. They could put Hernandez anywhere else. Emmanuel Rivera was kind of an interesting guy with the Diamondbacks last year. Neftali Soto, I think, has been playing pretty well in NPB. And Vimael Machine is a good name, although he's kind of just a depth guy.
Right, yeah.
And then there. In the outfield, they have Eddie Rosario, who was excellent in the last World Baseball Classic, I think.
Right. Eddie Rosario he seems like a little bit of a big moment guy. He killed it in the playoffs in 2021.
Yeah.
He's not been much to see in the regular season lately. Back when he was on the Twins, you want to talk about a guy who doesn't walk? That's Eddie Rosario. But he does have good power. You know, he's a good hitter. He just doesn't really walk that much. I think, isn't he a little bit of a clumsy defender?
Yeah, I don't think he's anything special on either side of the ball, but he's a decent major leaguer, and that's what you need in the World Baseball Classic. Yeah. I think Nelson Velasquez is actually a pretty interesting guy on the Cubs. I remember him torching the Phillies in that 15-2 game this year. I
remember that game.
Henry Ramos,
that's a rough one.
I want to say Henry Ramos saw big league time at one point, but not really anything to worry about. And Joneshui Fargas was a Met at one point. So now that I look at it, actually, I would put Kike Hernandez in the outfield.
Also, by the way, Joneshui Fargas is one of the S-tier names in this tournament.
Yeah, it's a very good name. And they will be managed by Yadier Molina, which is interesting. So this team, this is a good team. This is major leaguers, pretty much top to bottom, and some very good major leaguers.
Another name I want to point out on this pitching or on the coaching staff, there's actually two of them. Juan Gonzalez, hitting coach. Yeah. And then my favorite, this is probably my favorite coaching name of all time, pitching coach. I believe this is pronounced Ricky Bones, but I like Ricky Bones.
Ricky Bones is good.
Is it Ricky Bones? Is that how it's pronounced?
I believe it's Bonus, but
Ricky Bones.
No name in this tournament will come close to Sick Narf Loopstock.
No, that's true. That's S+. But I mean, Yaxel Rios is a pretty good one. Joneshui Fargas,
Phillies legend.
Vimael Machine is a pretty good one too. Machine. Oh, he's the machine.
He's the machine.
He's the heir to that title now. The Pool's out of the league. Jose Espada too, if you translate it. Good
Joe
name.
Sword.
So this is a solid team for names.
This is a solid team overall. This is a team that again is a victim of its pool. I think if they were in the USA, Mexico, Colombia pool, I think they'd be a little bit below Mexico, but they would have a decent chance of advancing.
Right. I think that's almost a wash, their matchup against Mexico, if they're in that pool.
think if they were in the Japan-Korea team, I think they could go toe-to-toe with Korea. And if they were in the Italy, Netherlands, Cuba pool, I think they would be hands down the favorite. But they're in a pool with, Israel's no pushover. Nicaragua's a little bit interesting. But the problem is they have Venezuela and the DR, and I just don't think they can beat those teams. Yeah, again, same thing that I was saying with Israel. If you get Jose Barrios to pitch a gem, they've got a very good bullpen, and they have hitters. So, it could happen. It could happen.
Especially with how good Lindor can be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a team that has some really good players. I actually think if they were in the Japan-Korea pool, I think this team's better than Korea just because it's got more proven major leaguers on it.
Yeah. I think it does.
So,
can I give you another hot take? I think I mentioned it last episode. I sat down at work and I predicted each pool round game. I'm taking Israel over Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
I'm being a homer.
That's brave.
I'm trying to will it into existence, but I'm taking my guys. I like Israel. Yeah. They've got a lot of power. I think they can because if you're Puerto Rico, you can't throw your ace against Israel. You got to save it for the big matchups you need to win. You need to win against Venezuela. Right. So if you throw Hector Santiago or somebody out there, Israel can win that game.
Yeah.
So that's my take. Should we wrap it up with Nicaragua, or is there anything else you want to say about Puerto Rico?
No, I mean, I think that Puerto Rico suffers from they're just the least relevant team of the big three. They do have one guy that I think we forgot to mention, Javi Baez.
Yeah, I glossed over him because he's been terrible in the majors lately, but
he's got power and he's got a lot of raw talent that I think has just he never fully developed into I don't think that his talent was ever honed the way it could have been. He's always been like a guy who hits a lot of nukes and makes amazing plays and then, makes a lot of stupid errors and doesn't really walk. He's been a little frustrating to watch for fans of the Cubs.
You want to talk about a guy that doesn't walk.
Tigers. Yeah.
He's tough. Although he is owner of one of the coolest plays in baseball history with that starting to point before he even tagged. That was really cool.
And also he was involved in the play 2 years ago with that Pirates first baseman who just completely forgot how to play baseball.
Yeah, Will Craig, yeah. That was it. Yeah, you're right. That's a better play than that. That was unbelievable. But
one of my something that I've always wanted a gif of is when they cut to Anthony Rizzo, just doubled over laughing in the dugout after that play. But let's move on to your friend and mine, Team Nicaragua.
Yeah, this one's a shame, man.
It is a shame. Surprisingly, there are some names on here that people will recognize. Not a lot of impressive names, but we will go through them.
They have one impressive name. Jonathan Loaisiga has been a good major leaguer.
Yeah.
Thus endeth the list of impressive names. The rest, I'll just knock out the recognizable names.
Chesler Cuthbert's been okay.
He's been out of the big leagues for a little while, but why not? Erasmo Ramirez has been in the big leagues for 10 years. He's nothing special, but on the world stage, nothing wrong with Erasmo Ramirez. Phillies legend JC Ramirez.
All right.
Like you said,
he's a sore spot for you and me, but
because that Cliff Lee trade. Yeah. Like you said, Chesler Cuthbert, and I think the only other guy that I'm recognizing as a major leaguer, Alex Blandino, is sort of a failed prospect for the Reds, but that is a major leaguer. Was Ronald Medrano a major leaguer? That sounds.
I believe he was in the minors. The reason that we recognize his name is because Ronald Medrano was the starter for Team Spain against Czech Republic when
you're right.
they dropped the final game of the qualifiers to the Czech Republic. Medrano absolutely mowed down the Czech lineup. Outside of he gave up a home run to Marek Klup, and I think his name's Martin Music. Might be Marek Music, I forget. But they hit 2 home runs off Medrano, and then that was kind of it. They didn't really do much. But the Spanish lineup did even less. So Medrano, switched over to Team Nicaragua.
Right.
And he made it to pool play. Good on him,
Right. Yeah. Ronald Medrano, God bless him. I think the only other player, I just saw a thing about this on Reddit of somebody asking, Johnny Damon and stuff like that and guys like that have, gone from one team to another. Like Johnny Damon played for the U.S. at one point, and then he played for Thailand at a different point. But this guy was asking, has anybody ever done that in the same year? And Ronald Medrano, now that you say it, was the example, along with Thiago da Silva, who pitched for Brazil in the qualifiers this year and now is on Team Italy. So that's cool.
Right.
Just a little throwaway. The only glaring omission for Team Nicaragua they could have had is Mark Vientos, who's American, but his parents are Nicaraguan, or at least one of them is.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool. I don't know if the Mets blocked it or if he pulled out because he was committed at one point. But that's the only real guy that you can point to and go, if they had him. Other than that, Nicaragua is the team that you would expect it to be, unless they're minor leaguers or something that I don't know about. This team is a bummer. I don't think they're the worst team in the tournament by any means, obviously because China exists, but
they're close,
they do have they have a handful of major leaguers, a handful of guys with major league experience, and they got a couple of minor league guys. So I think they're better than a team like Nicaragua. I think they're probably better than a team like the Czech Republic. I also think they're behind Great Britain and stuff. I don't see Nicaragua winning any games. I think if they're going to win a game, they could maybe sneak one out against Israel, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I just don't think they don't have enough players who can match up to some of the guys on Israel. I mean, like, their best player is Jonathan Loaizaga,
which is only super helpful if you have a lead late in the game.
Yeah, like, I mean, they're just not throwing out a particularly good team, which is, it's sad because they are, I think that this is a team that, I want them to be good.
Yeah, they're a good baseball country. They've produced.
You imagine like countries in, is Nicaragua Central America?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're in South America. They're in that like bottom part of Central America where I start to forget whether it's in South America or Central America. But they're in an area of the world that plays a lot of baseball. So you would hope that this team would be good. They're not yet, but there's no reason that they couldn't be going forward. Couple of top tier names on this team. You got Rodney Theophile. I think it's probably Theophile or Theophile. Rodolfo Bone, good name. And there's 2 others that I really like. There's Milcar Perez, Mommy Milcars, and you got Willians Vasquez.
You haven't mentioned the best one.
Which one?
Chesler Cuthbert.
Nah. That's
such a good name. That's hilarious.
It is. I've worn that out over the years.
I guess so.
Story time. During the pandemic, one of our friends is very into the Twilight movies, and we watched them. And I don't remember his actual name, but the dad vampire, his name started with a C, and I could never remember what it was, and I kept calling him Cuthbert. And in the last movie, they have the fake out ending where a bunch of characters get killed, and then they're just like,
"Oh, spoilers!
It was just a dream." So this dude gets killed, and I was like, "Dude, they killed Cuthbert." And then they're just like, "No, it was just a dream." And I was like, "You're gonna get me attached to Cuthbert like this, and then you're gonna fake out kill him? This is like the Rise of Skywalker. This is almost that bad with the fake out deaths." But anyway, I
don't want to get into Star Wars.
That's my Chesler Cuthbert story. It has very little to do with Chesler Cuthbert. But yeah. So Team Nicaragua, they're a bottom 3 team in the whole tournament. I mean, they're going back to qualifiers. I don't see any way around it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to belabor the point of Nicaragua anymore. They're a good baseball country. I would like to see Nicaragua succeed in the future. I see the pool playing out, and I think you're going to disagree with me, Tom. I think the DR finishes first, Venezuela finishes second. I think Israel finishes third. Puerto Rico.
I knew it.
I think Puerto Rico disappoints and finishes fourth, and then Nicaragua goes 0-4 and goes back to the qualifiers.
Now, I would love to see that, because I mean it's a little boring to just pick, DR, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Israel, Nicaragua, but like I don't see how it can play out not like that. Like,
yeah, that's the logical choice.
Maybe if the Dominican Republic doesn't throw their best pitchers against Venezuela and Venezuela takes the top spot, I could see that. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, I think I'm going DR, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Israel, Nicaragua. It's the boring pick, but I don't see how that doesn't happen. So now that we've done all 4 of the pools, listen to our other episodes. Our next couple episodes, next one at least, we got to talk about how we see the tournament playing out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we do. We're gonna have to get it up quick.
Yeah.
The tournament starts Tuesday night.
Well, we've already done our pool predictions, so we got time before quarterfinals. Send us in your predictions for the tournament at let's see if I can remember, the Baseball Pod 2 on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to email us, I believe that one is just thebaseballpod@gmail.com.
Nailed it. If you want to be like our friend of the show, Orvin Ogando,
yes,
obviously relative of Alexi, you can reach out.
I was going to say the same thing.
You can reach out. You can email us. You can DM us on Twitter. Our DMs are open, obviously. And I had a lot of fun with Orvin talking about DR, playing Elmer Dessens. He was great. Let's have Orvin on again sometime.
He was a
soon.
challenging Elmer Dessens opponent.
He was.
I gotta say,
he was.
As soon as he threw out Shelley Duncan, I knew that it was going to be the big leagues this time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he was great. I really enjoyed Orvin. I really enjoyed playing Elmer Dessens with him. And Orvin, thank you for being the first true fan mail we ever got. We got one criticism. We got one.
Yeah, we got hate mail.
Yeah, we got hate mail. We got one, asking to be put in touch with somebody. And again, Ed Lidos, thank you for all your help. But Orvin was the first person to just say, I listened to your show. Can I come on? So thank you for that, Orvin. And I hope this starts something. If you too, listener, want to come on one more time, you can email us at thebaseballpod@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Twitter at thebaseballpod2 on Twitter.
Right.
So feel free
what? Feel free to publicly put us on blast on Twitter.
That would be.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You're right.
I think if you have, an inquiry, if you have the kind of thing that we would say,
a just question, my liege.
Don't make it a DM, okay? I want this to be open for discussion. So
you're right.
Just blast us on Twitter.
We are nothing if not transparent here on the Baseball Podcast.
That's true. Yeah, we don't hold anything back.
Yeah, exactly. So this was fun. A huge thank you again to Orvin. I couldn't have had more fun with him.
Here's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos. It will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
It's been a while, guys. It's been a while since I broke out the Nick Castellanos, Tom Brenneman drop. But you know what? I didn't want you guys to forget about it. So there it is.
There it is. Well,
and you know what? Nick Castellanos hit a home run this spring training already. And it got me thinking, it's been a while since I really used that drop. So I promise you guys, especially whoever it was who sent the hate mail about us using too many sound effects, I swear to you, I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using that more frequently. I'm not going to beat it to death, but it's going to be coming out a little more frequently. So be on the lookout. All right.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got anything else for our fans?
No.
No?
Oh, I have one more thing. I want to give a shout out. I was talking to a guy, and I hope I said his name right. Ellie Woolgalernter. Ellie Woolgalernter. I'm really sorry, Ellie. I'm trying.
Hey, listen. You know what?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
did what you can.
Ellie writes for the Times of Israel, and he tagged us on Twitter amongst a bunch of other people in an article that he wrote called Jews Playing in Major League Baseball. We just set the record. And basically the article is there were 16, true Jews, not people like me and you who, have Jewish heritage, whatever. Like 16
many
people,
call them trues,
right, 16 people who identify solely as Jewish in the major leagues. And apparently that is the most that there ever has been in one season at one time in the major leagues. And he also pointed to a trend of a growing number of, the average amount of Jews in a given season or in a given decade playing in the major leagues. And he basically pointed out, and I'll just summarize the article. I'll put a link to it at the bottom because it was cool to read. And he basically just said the number of Jews in Major League Baseball is growing and growing. And we're going to keep seeing, records being set. And that's good for Jewish baseball. And I think he's absolutely right. So that was a cool article. Check it out. But he tagged us and said that if we were going to be talking about Team Israel, that we should do that. So there you go. There's your plug. And he was cool. I DM'd him and said thanks, and he was a really nice guy. And I asked him to come on the podcast at some point after the WBC and discuss Team Israel performance, so we can look forward to that. So again, thank you, Ellie. I hope I said your last name right. If not, please feel free to let me know.
Really quick. I don't want you to sign off because I just saw some bad news. I pulled up Twitter, and I'm glad that I did because I'm seeing from Hector Gomez, who is a MLB insider. He does a lot of reporting for the World Baseball Classic. Juan Soto is once again out of the Padres lineup due to discomfort in his left calf. Dominican fans fear that the same thing will happen with Soto as with Vladdy Jr., who will not be able to play in the World Baseball Classic. That's not definitive, but if you're the Padres, you are probably doing everything you can right now to talk him out of playing in the World Baseball Classic. Right. That would suck. If they lose Juan Soto, I mean, the Dominican Republic is hamstrung at that point. They're still one of the best teams in the tournament.
That's probably the biggest loss they could suffer, other than maybe Alcantara.
Yeah, so we hope that doesn't happen. Especially, even the U.S. fan in me that's looking at, playing the DR at some point during this tournament. You don't want to win
like that. You want your best to beat their best.
Yeah, you don't want it to be like, oh, well, the U.S. just won because everybody in the DR got hurt. So, thoughts and prayers for Juan Soto, the ever-effective thoughts and prayers. So, yeah, let's have less injuries before the World Baseball Classic, so that we can have a good tournament. And outside of that, that's all you got, right?
That's all I got. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Baseball Podcast. And if you too want to be like Orvin, email or tweet at us, and we will have you on the show.
And as always, and I want you guys to remember this, I want you to take this with you as you go into this week, okay? We don't love full weeks, but we take this wisdom with us to get us through the week. And that is... His name is Dan Island! And we'll see you on the next one.